We're live at the 11th Annual Harlem Book Fair from the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture's Langston Hughes Auditorium. Book TV will be bringing you 6 hours of coverage from this year's Harlem Book Fair. Our schedule starts in just a couple of minutes with Catherine Acholonu, who will discuss her book on ancient civilizations of Nigeria. They lived before Adam.
Good morning.
That's followed by New York Times senior editor Dana Kennedy, who reflects on her husband's writings from the Iraq War in A Journal for Jordan. Later, Gregory Walker presents his book and research of the Trojan War in Shades of Memnon. Our coverage continues with a biography panel followed by a panel discussion on African American language and culture. We end the day with a panel on Ghanaian writer Ama Ata Aidu. That's all coming up from the 2009 Harlem Book Fair. In just a couple of minutes, Catherine Acholonu.
I just want to say hello.
You see Marie? I need a copy of the book from her. It's in the bag she has.
You don't need a copy of the book.
I don't.
No,
Okay,
because
thank you.
they're going to scroll your name and the title of your book and everything is
Okay.
there.
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
Okay.
No.
Screen.
Thank you and welcome to the 11th Annual Harlem Book Fair. Thank you to all of our attendees and to our viewing audience. Thank you to C-SPAN for once again partnering with us to tell our stories. Today we will bring very interesting panel discussions. We will have authors, book signings, storytelling, analysis, the whole of the Black world in print, in writing. As we say at QBR, the Black Book Review, our lives, our words, our stories, and this is that public platform from which we do that. Again, I'd like to thank you all. Max Rodriguez, founder of the Harlem Book Fair. Thank you once again. We'll begin our program. Yes. Yes. Well, that was my intro to my work. I got that. But okay, so let's begin.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to again welcome you to the Langston Hughes Auditorium at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. My name is Troy Johnson. I am the president and founder of the African American Literature Book Club, better known as AALBC.com. AALBC.com is one of the oldest and certainly the largest website dedicated to the works of books by and about Black people. Today it is indeed my honor to introduce all of the author talks that will be taking place here. There are 3 that are scheduled. We have another one scheduled at 12:10 with author Dana Kennedy, who will be discussing her nonfiction work, A Journal for Jordan, A Story of Love and Honor. The third author talk that will take place will be this afternoon with author Gregory Walker, The Ethiopians Rediscovered, the African Expedition into the Trojan War. That begins at 12:45. But now we have author Catherine Acholonu, who is the author of the book, They Lived Before Adam. In 2001, after more than 11 years of research, Katherine discovered a library of ancient stone inscriptions made by the common ancestors of what she refers to as the Niger-Benue subfamily of the Nigerian tribes. These stone inscriptions are located in Ikom, Cross River State, Nigeria. That discovery buoyed her research and created an access into the lost civilizations of ancient Nigeria. As groundbreaking as the research found in John Hope Franklin's They Came Before Columbus, They Lived Before Adam extends the conversation and controversy surrounding Africa as the birthplace of human civilization. Again, it is indeed my honor to introduce Catherine Acholonu as she discussed in some depth her work, They Lived Before Adam. Thank you. Would you like to come to the podium? Would you like to come to the podium?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to first of all address the significance of the work we have done, the research we have done. We believe that our findings have expanded the parameters of knowledge. We believe that our findings call for another look at the history of mankind. We believe that it is important that history be rewritten so that Africa's place, Black Africa's place in it, will be ensured. The contributions of Black Africans towards the making of world civilizations are what our findings are about. Before I begin my talk, let me first of all acknowledge the following. Her Excellency, Haja Toure Umaru Musa Yaradua, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the support she gives to research and new vision in today's Nigeria. Their Excellencies, Chief Ikedio Hakim, Governor of Imo State, whom we, the citizens of Imo State, fondly call Ochinawata, the Boy King, for his contributions and his support, and that of his amiable wife, Barrister Chioma Hakim, for their unalloyed support for this project and for creating an atmosphere in Imo State, my home state, where intellectuals like me can function unperturbed and where academics and new ideas can thrive. The new leadership of Ohaneze Ndigbo, the Apex Igbo organization, we are grateful to them for powering the world presentation of and putting their stamp or support on our new publication, They Lived Before Adam. I stand here today not just as myself alone, but as head of a research team set up in 2004 under the auspices of the United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture Nigeria. The United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture is a program of the Global Secretariat of the UNCCD, of which I happen to be the Nigeria representative and Goodwill Ambassador. This research team has in it personalities such as Dr. Ajay Prabhakar, an Indian software technology engineer and specialist of the United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture. Ms. Nneka Ebuna, a senior culture officer in UNESCO Nigeria. Honorable Edi Olumba, an applied arts specialist and a distinguished alumnus of Manhattanville College, Purchase, New York, the art and culture consultant of United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture. These are a few of those I will name among our research team. I myself am a professor of linguistics and African cultural studies, a former Fulbright scholar at the Westchester Consortium for International Studies, and visiting professor at Manhattanville College, Iona College, College of New Rochelle, Marymount College, all in New York State. They Lived Before Adam is my 16th published book, and the second in a series which are the result of this research project, which originally began in 1990, 19 years ago in the state of New York, and precisely on the campus of Manhattanville College. Therefore, on behalf of my co-authors and co-researchers and myself, we express our gratitude to the U.S. State Department, to the Fulbright Organization, and to the Westchester Consortium for International Studies for this support I received between 1989, when I discovered and published the Igbo roots of African slave author and American slave author, Olaudah Equiano, also called Gustavus Vassa. And 1991, when these institutions I've mentioned granted me the honor of enjoying their hospitality and support as U.S. international visitor and as a Fulbright scholar in residence here in New York. They Lived Before Adam is a sequel to another work titled The Gram Code of African Adam, Stone Books and Cave Libraries, Reconstructing 450,000 Years of Africa's Lost Civilizations, published in 2005. Together, these two books make up a total of about 1,150 pages. To underscore its importance, the Gram Code of African Adam, when it was published, was presented to the world on the 25th of September 2005 by the then President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, represented by the Minister of Culture and Tourism, Ambassador Frank Ogbewu. I am here on the invitation of the Harlem Book Fair, the largest black book fair in the world, to present our new book, They Lived Before Adam. Its findings, the prehistoric origins of the Igbo, They Never Been Ruled. Alternative title is The Igbo Since 1.6 Million BC. Two things mark out our work as a new, and as some say, groundbreaking addition to scholarship. The first is the discovery and transcription of lost stone writings of prehistoric Africans. These inscribed stones, located in southern Nigeria in a very rural place called Akom in Cross River State, have been attracting international researchers since the colonial days, but we were the first to see their inscriptions as a form of writing and to actually isolate and transcribe some of its letters. Another series of stone inscriptions called Ogam, found in Ireland, which many linguists have been struggling with for decades, were also transcribed by our team into an African language still spoken today in Nigeria. In fact, some Ogam inscriptions were found in West Virginia in USA. What we have found in the case of the inscribed monolith of southeastern Nigeria, the monolith of Akom, is that they contain two letters that were the foundation of proto-cuneiform, a writing system used in Mesopotamia or Sumer before 4000 BC. The letters in question are the letter Ki and the letter Shi, the first and the last of the old Sumerian orthography. We also found some basic letters of early Egyptian hieroglyphics, such as the letters R and the letters N on the stones of Akom. But the majority of the letters on the stones are from a Dravidian Indian language called Malayalam, as well as symbols now recognized as universal due to the fact that they now form the root of most cultures, religions, and sciences in the world. These include the cross, the spiral, the triangle, the circle, the concentric circle, and every other known geometric shape. The antiquity of the stones and the fact that they were discovered in the virgin forest where many were buried underground shows that they were indigenous and that they belong to the twilight days of human history, prehistory indeed. Oral tradition of the natives of Akom say that the inscriptions were executed by the Stone Age people, the first humans to inhabit the area, and that they were invented by the first mother of humankind. They call this first mother Shishe, and say that she was the first woman to have borne a child by pregnancy, and that her first child was a boy, through whom sin and death came into the world. The monolith dedicated to her in Akom bear the name Shishe, just like the oral tradition, written in an orthography that includes proto-cuneiform, that is Sumerian proto-cuneiform, proto-Canaanite, Dravidian Malayalam, and others. Her Akom name, Shishe, is the same Hebrew name which Adam called Eve in the biblical story of creation. Her eyes and mouth form the Canaanite Hebrew letter Ayin, which is the first and highest sephira in the Hebrew Kabbalah. It represents the no thing, the infinite, the ineffable God. There are over 300 of these stones in Akom, Nigeria. Another thing that marked a turning point in our research was the discovery by a team of archaeologists of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka of early Stone Age hand axes and other stone implements belonging to the time zone of 1.6 million BC to 500,000 BC. The archaeologists, Professor F.N. Anozie, Professor J.O. Ijoma, and others working with some British faculty members of the Department of Archaeology, University of Nigeria and Nsukka in the 70s, discovered several lorry loads of non-polished as well as polished hand axes, picks, and other implements in a place called Ugwele in the zone of Okigwe in southeastern Nigeria. Their conclusion, published in a number of local journals at the time, that the Okigwe home of Homo erectus, or Nigerian early man, was the one-stop shop, the warehouse that supplied survival tools to all pockets of Homo erectus habitation worldwide. For us, this means that it was from Okigwe, prehistoric Nigeria, that the out of Africa migrations of early man took off to populate the 5 continents of the globe. More so because Homo erectus implements discovered all over the world all look like they were made in the same Okigwe factory. This was also the conclusion of the archaeologists. Our linguistic analysis of samples of words from a number of languages spoken in all 5 continents of the globe today confirm what several other linguists have long suspected and concluded, that mankind as the Hebrew Bible says, spoke one language at the beginning. Our comparative linguistic analysis of words from many languages across the globe show that Igbo, the language group that includes Okigwe, the home of the Nigerian Homo erectus, was in fact spoken by the earliest inhabitants of countries as far-flung as Nigeria, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Turkey, India, China, Greece, United Kingdom, North America, South America, including the Greenland Eskimos. In fact, the 2 vernacular words that survived in Plato's description of Atlantis were found to be in sound and in meaning to have been directly derived from the Igbo language environment. So too were 90% of words used by Adam and his household, especially names of people and places and their meanings. Our research includes the origin and meanings of symbols used in every religion and sacred literature all over the world. In these, we found that Hebrew Bible, the Kabbalahs of the Hebrews and the Chinese, the Hindu Vedas and Ramayana, and the recently discovered Egyptian Christian Bible called the Nag Hammadi, are of immense importance in revealing lost knowledge. Wherever we looked, we found evidence confirming the claims by geneticists who have been conducting mitochondrial DNA research in 4 leading universities here in USA, that all mankind came from sub-Saharan Africa, that Eve and Adam were black Africans. However, whereas it had been previously believed that Adam and Eve were descended from East African Lucy, our findings reveal that it was not an East African Lucy, but more like an Igbo Nigerian Chioma. This is the name of the first lady of my state, who is actually from Okigwe, the home of the Homo erectus, who was Homo habilis, ancestor of Eve and Adam. So what I'm saying is that it was not Eve, it was not Lucy, but rather a Nigerian Chioma, an Igbo Chioma, who was the ancestor, the Homo habilis ancestor of Homo erectus, who did the out of Africa migrations. We say this because research conducted by French paleontologists, led by Professor Michael Brunet, revealed that Australopithecus, the direct ancestor of Homo erectus, the ancestor of Homo sapiens, or Adam, lived at the Nigeria-Chad basin 7 million years, predating Lucy and even her newfound ancestors by a whooping 2 to 4 million years. This again confirms what Igbo oral traditions tell us, that we did not come from anywhere, that we are autochthons, that we are children of evolution, the uncreated, the never been ruled, the kings and queens of the earth and its peoples. Thus, Igbo oral traditions confirm the findings of geneticists that by 280,000 BC, human evolution was interrupted, and Adam, a hybrid, was created through the process of genetic engineering. However, our findings reveal that the creation of Adam was a downward climb on the evolutionary ladder because he lost his divine essence. He became divided, no longer whole or wholesome. All over Africa and in ancient Egyptian records, oral and written traditions maintain that Homo erectus people were heaven beings and possessed mystical powers such as telepathy, levitation, bilocation, that their words could move rocks and mountains and change the course of rivers. Adam lost all that when his right brain was shut down by those who made him, created him. The direct descendants of Homo erectus were the small dwarfs who were the heroes of folk tales in every part of the world. It was they who founded and sustained Igbo civilization, where they continued to function till they were driven out by colonialists only recently. It was they who transported Igbo language and culture to all corners of the globe. Therefore, we say that the things falling apart, which you read about in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, to whom this publication, The Lead Before Adam, is dedicated, refers to the falling apart not only of the Igbo of the colonial period, but of the prehistoric Igbos, the ancestors of mankind. Adam, who was taken from his Nigerian ancestry and moved and changed and altered and made to become less than his ancestry. The significance of the research work, this research work confirms both theories of evolutionism as well as creationism. That these two theories played some part in the development of the human species. That indeed mankind is one family and black Africans are the oldest ancestors of humankind and the first to be called Homo. That the lost paradise of Eden was an African location. That in fact it was a West African and Nigerian location. And that the solutions to the problems created by modernity through the fall of Adam are to be sought in Black Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay, sure. We're going to open up the floor for questions. If anyone has questions, I assume there are two mics. There's a mic on this side. Please feel free to step up to the mic and pose any questions that you might have for the author this afternoon. Don't be shy.
My name is Dominique Harrison, and I'm a professor at the City University of New York. And I find your information to be very, very interesting. In terms of the...
Excuse me, for the benefit of the C-SPAN audience, it'd be much better if you step to the mic so everyone can hear the question. That's the mic, sure.
Hi, hello. Wow, that's good. I like that. My name is Dominique Harrison. I'm an architect, also a professor at the City University of New York City College of Technology, and I find your information to be very, very interesting in essence, and the reason why is because there are stories that we've all been listening to and hearing for the past centuries, and most of the stories that we've been listening to were certainly more of what we call folk tales, and at times when we're not educated in terms of the process of reading certain documentation in regards to whether it's bibliotech or whether it's about the existence of mankind or the existentiality. And my question to you is that how does that book pertaining to they lived before Adam define the stories of the Bible itself or the bibliotech in a sense?
Well, we've spoken about the beginnings of humankind, we've spoken about evolution and then creationism. It's clear where Adam falls into that story. There is science and there is religion. Religion deals with issues of faith. And mostly, we don't deal with issues of faith when we do research, because we believe that stories in the Bible, for example, as well as in some other scriptures, are like what you call folk tales and oral traditions. They are condensed information, condensed in such a way that the essentials are there, but the details are not often there. In the case of the creation of Adam and how it relates to the 280,000 years ago event when suddenly Homo sapiens sprung up, different from his ancestor, Homo erectus, and without a proper and normal evolutionary growth that would have permitted that. Geneticists tell us that this showed that something happened. Someone affected, put a hand in the evolutionary process and interrupted it. And so the story we have in the Bible is actually, the story we have in the Bible is the process whereby a man and a woman who used to be naked and didn't know how to farm, didn't know how to, were not bearing children by the process of sex, suddenly changed and realized they were naked and all whatnot. So that's the point where creationism crosses the path of evolution. So that's all I can say at this point.
Dr. Acholonu, my name is Stephen Thompson. My question is, the region where you found the stone inscriptions, would that have been the region where the Nok or Nok culture was located? Now, when I say Nok or Nok, I'm spelling it with a capital N-O-K. Would they have been somehow related?
Yes, the answer is yes. Because in between 9,000 BC and 5,000 BC, we discovered that there was a thriving civilization called Biafra in the area of Nigeria, Cameroon. And that civilization was a mighty civilization, and it enveloped much of Nigeria and the Cameroons and some environs. Its center was where you now call Nok. Akom appears to be its library, where information was stored in the remote forests for safekeeping, so to say.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's about all the time that we have for questions right now. We're going to be taking a short 10-minute break. The next author queued up and is ready to go will be at 12:10 with author Dana Kennedy. So relax for a few moments. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
We have limited information back
You mean
Yeah, where the books are going, yeah, over there.
You've been watching Catherine Acholonu, author of They Lived Before Adam. Book TV's coverage of the 11th annual Harlem Book Fair will continue in just a couple of minutes with Dana Kennedy, who will discuss her book, A Journal for Jordan.